Who took my block of wood? Ain't cool. My block of wood is missing. Gotta go get another block of wood. There, I found my block of wood. It's only got a couple of nails in it. No problems. I don't know why the flash is on, but it doesn't need to be on. Ooh, sorry if you caught that sneeze. I tried to mute it. I'm allergic to warranty work. Yeah. What did you grab? Don't you spin on me. All right, you guys watch that side and make sure everything lines up. I don't want to hit anything. If I do, it's your fault because you're supposed to be looking over there. The biggest thing I'm looking for is there's 3-inch long guide pins that are sticking out of the bottom of the engine that have to go into the transmission. As this engine hoist comes down, the transmission just moves forward a little bit. That's just how the crane is. So what'll happen is those pins will walk themselves into the torque converter and they'll wrap around it. And then they'll get stuck between the torque converter and the bell housing, and it'll cause a lovely little setback. So that's why I keep stopping and checking and stopping and checking. But if you all were doing your job and checking to make sure this wasn't happening, it'd go a lot faster. A little bit more. There we go. So the nose of the engine is a little bit too low and the nose of the transmission is a little bit too high. Let's try and even that out. And you really want this to just slide together. Just like that. It slides together like that. We're good. We can start bolting things up. I really need to be wearing my gloves for this. And the jerk next to me needs to close his lane. It's been open for 30 minutes. It's letting all the humidity in here. Took 10 years to get air conditioning in this shop. And you would think people would be excited about it and be hollering at each other to keep the friggin' doors closed. And granted, it's still a little bit warm in here, but it's not humid. That's all that matters. Trying to work in humidity sucks. Oh. When you work in humidity, you're talking about like going to work with an extra change of clothes because you'll sweat through everything. The humidity was so bad here that I even bought this really expensive gym membership across the street. I was paying like $100 a month just so that I could go over there and take a shower at lunch. They had like a pool. And I was just going over there, jumping in the pool, showering off. I thought it was hilarious because This dealership is kind of in this ritzy area, and that gym is nothing but a bunch of rich white fucktards. So they see dirty old me showing up. I always get the same look, like, "What are you doing here?" And when I get that face from them, I go, "Yeah, that's right. I can afford to come here. Sorry, sorry they let the common folk in." Always make sure I park my busted ass Outback next to the most expensive car. Because there's like always Porsche, and that parking lot is just full of Teslas and Porsches and G-Wagons. Every fucking dumbass drives a G-Wagon. And if you drive a G-Wagon and you're watching the show and you think you're not dumb, I'm sorry, but I stereotype G-Wagon drivers. You're all self-centered and dumb. I have personally not met one that wasn't. And for somebody who works on them, yeah, you all have rotten personalities towards other people. You drive like maniacs. You're the person who honks your horn when the light's been green for half a second. You're the one, like, your only problem of the day is waiting too long for your Starbucks coffee. Or finding out that you don't have cell phone reception. You're like, oh man, this garage has shitty cell phone reception. I'm sorry, is that why I can't fix your car? Because my garage has horrible cell phone reception? Man. Sorry sorry for the inconvenience, you know. Ooh, I got some heartburn. Need more water. Always get commented that I just drink soda all day and I complain about water. There's nothing but water in here. I reuse my Subway cup until it falls apart. I'll probably get about a month out of this thing before it just disintegrates. Alright. We gotta get this in the hole. A little back and to the left. There we go. That was sketchy as hell, right? So if you missed the stream this morning, you can go check it out. We tore down the engine. We fixed the gasket leak on the cam carrier. Everything's good now. And yes, the cam carrier leak is a quote-unquote problem with the FAFB engines. No, it's never a manufacturer problem. I always see this leak on vehicles that have very very poor oil change service history. All right, the people who go 7, 8, 10,000 miles between oil changes. I see it on those cars. This one that's in the air right now, 10,000 mile oil changes. And cars that have been, they got bottom end damage where they hit speed bumps too hard and they bottom out their front suspension. That'll do it. So all the cam carriers I end up fixing, they got 1 to 2 problems that have been happening. The front end's been getting bottomed out somehow, or the oil change history on the car is crap. What people don't understand is your engine oil, when you overuse it, it gets acidic. That's why I harp on people. Get your engine oil changed often, if not early. Never hurts it to get it done a few hundred miles early. Oh. Oh, are you kidding me? Really? Oh, balls! That sucks. Oh, man. Yeah, got a setback here. Setback, I gotta kind of figure out how to get around. Let's see if I can't do it here from ye old bottom with the car in the air. But this sucks. So there's a few hoses that you all were supposed to be looking out for, by the way. That was on your side of the engine bay, not mine. Well, right between the bell housing and the transmission, right between the engine block and the bell housing, we have a pinched hose. Little tiny rubber hose. Let's see if we can't do something about that without having to re-pull the engine. This doesn't happen often. Heartburn. But when it does, you got to know how to get out from underneath it. So let's see if we can get underneath our engine here. No, no, if I push up on the engine, it's just going to push it more into the bell housing. I don't want that. Let's get underneath the transmission, because if I lift up the transmission, then it's going to allow the engine to kind of scoot forward a little bit. Yeah. That logic sounds good. Let's see what happens. Let's see if gravity is on my side today. And I do still have a couple bell housing bolts in, so no, this engine's not going to fall apart. That's a dumb idea. Is there any room for it to go forward? No, not really. Not really. Oh, that's just total balls. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. We got something happening here. Something happening here. I just got to find a way to get a grip on it. Damn axle's in the way. Ow. All right, I give up. I gave it an honest few tries. Now we're just burning daylight. We're just gonna pull the engine out. Well, not pull it out all the way, but we'll get it out some of the way. This blows. This blows all because of a hose. It's gonna set me back about 30 minutes. Maybe. Should I waste a little time with this idea? I might be able to get it in. Just need the block to open up about 1/8 of an inch. There, we got the hose out. Oh yeah. Took a bite out of that hose, didn't it? Alright, well, we'll fix that. It sucks, but we'll fix it. It bit off the tip of the hose by about a 1/4 inch. No problems, we'll just whoop, cut off the bad piece. There's enough hose length on there. There's like 3 inches of extra hose length there, so it ain't gonna make a big deal. Just you and my little secret. Best mistakes are the ones that we fix. If I did order new hose, this car would be here for another week. This hose is not in stock. Yeah. No problemo, man. Okay, now what? Better not be happening what I think is happening in that little hole. Well, that blows. Folks, I'm getting already annoyed. Let me see what I'm dealing with here. Let me get my bore scope. I think there's a chunk of it stuck in the engine block, man. God damn it. It's 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. I don't need this right now. Yep. I thought I had it with the forceps. There must be another piece in there. Okay. So I can keep my camera there. Good to try and what the. All right, you stay in there. Come on, borescope, stay in there. I can see what the hell is going on here. Okay, good. Now I'm just gonna get a little. Oh yeah, totally. Get a shiv in there. Just shove her out of the way. Yeah. Okay. Let's grab one of my little hooks here. There we go. Don't come out sideways. Come out the way you went in, dummy. Or just go down. See if I can get it with the old forceps now. Ooh, I had something. Yeah, it's right there. I don't know why the forceps aren't grabbing it. I'm definitely getting it now. I can see it at the edge of the hole. There it is. Oh my gosh. That's what broke off. Just a piece of rubber that was in there. Couldn't put a bell housing bolt in. That was exciting. Was that suspenseful? Was for me. Now you might be asking yourself, or you might just be saying out loud in chat, man, I would have just pulled that engine and then dug it out. Well, I'm going to tell you this, because this is how the mechanic mindset is. You go say that situation to a mechanic, and you ask them, how many attempts would you try before you just said, screw it, I'm going to pull that engine back out? Us mechanics are kind of stubborn, especially when we're on that verge of almost got it. As soon as you say I almost got it, there's no going back. That's just the truth. It's just a much better story when you say that you had to dig it out with a borescope and a pair of forceps, right? Yeah. Now I get to repair all these cheap hose connections here on this pancake cooler for the transmission. I can't believe just how easy they are to deform. It's just disgraceful. Like, they deformed just by getting the hose clamps off. I couldn't believe that. Alright, so what I'm just trying to do right now is there's a hose clamp on the EGR cooler that I scooted out of the way, but I forgot to put back on when I was working on this passenger side, so bear with me. Let me just put a little friendly lubrication on there. My lubrication is Tough Stuff, because it doesn't make the hoses angry, and if there's any kind of gunk on there that's getting in my way, Tough Stuff's gonna break it down. But I remember this particular one. Where are my little pink ones at? There we go. These are my money pliers. Oh, you're gonna be one of those mean hoses. Oh, you're a mean hose. I already do not like this. I was already having problems with these EGR hose clamps because they're made pretty piss poor. You want me to do it left-handed? I'll do it left-handed, you son of a... I just add 20 more minutes to this engine install. Criminy. Because of a stupid hose. This is one of those stupid hose connections where the hose barb is bigger than the inner diameter of the hose clamp. I hate these ones. I've encountered them before, and if and they're the kind where you have to put the hose and the hose clamp on, or you got to put the hose clamp on first, then you put the hose on, and then the hose slides. Ugh. How do I say without sounding very angry? All right. So you compress the hose clamp because it has like a spring retention, so it holds itself open. Then you put the hose over the hose barb, and the hose clamp is already there, so you just slide it on the other side of the hose barb. That's kind of how they want you to do it. Pieces of junk. All because some doofus said, man, we can save 2 pennies per hose clamp if we just assemble it this way. And some bean counter went, oh my God, you're going to make us so much money on the assembly line with that strategy. And who cares about the people who have to work on these cars? Oh, this is the piece of junk hose clamp I'm dealing with. See, we got to squeeze it together. This is no joke how it has to be done. Squeeze it together, stressing my hand out because I'm old and my hand hurts. And then engage that lock, that stupid little latch that probably is already shot. There's a little key there. I got to get those two to come together. Okay. Well, that sucks. Where'd it go? I found it. If you're part of the engineering team that made this thing, I really don't like you right now. No, I'm not going to put a worm gear on it. Get that out of your head. I don't do worm gears. Wonder if a vise would help. Yeah, what'd you do?
Remember that Outback? He helped me. He diagnosed the cam failure on that
Yeah.
2019 Outback. The burners from the U.S. manifold fell into the that intake.
No shit, really?
I said, "Oh, thank God, I gave it out."
Who's got it now?
I guess Ben's doing it now.
Uh-oh. What? He took the intake manifold off?
Yep.
But it needs a cam carrier reseal anyways. Why wouldn't he just pull the engine?
They did pull the engine out. They got the engine out, but they took the intake manifold off and they saw it leaking.
So what does it need now? A cylinder head?
Oh, I just got new manifold now.
Oh. Okay, the device is helping out a lot. It is helping out a ton, but it doesn't want to catch. And that's what's killing me. I bring you along, but the camera would then point towards main shop, and I don't want anybody else that doesn't need to be on camera. Sorry. I don't have people's permission. Ooh, ooh, it made the clicky noise. No. I need a pick. God damn, where's my picks? The metal is fatiguing. Ah. We did it. We did it. That's what we're trying to do. Piece of shit. So now I got to slide. So if this is the barb, I got to put this over the barb. Then I slide the hose in, and it goes over there because the friggin' barb is bigger than the inner diameter of this. These hose clamps are pieces of shit. Never in my life have I encountered a one-time use hose clamp. I could definitely see down the road there's going to be a lot of worm gears on this EGR cooler. I don't know why Subaru just couldn't use a normal constant tension clamp. What do we lose? Like another 10, 15 minutes on this car? There we go. Yay, it's on. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Alright. Now, these hoses on. Yeah, I can definitely tell that the aftermarket side, the folks who are outside dealerships, they're just going to have a power trip over these hose clamps. I foresee every single one getting a worm gear clamp. I'm dealing with another one right now. I think next time I do this, this is my first cam carrier on the new transmission setup. I'm just gonna pull the whole pancake cooler and just order new O-rings for the pancake cooler. I do not like how these clamps are fighting me at all. Or I guess I just start ordering brand new ones every time I do this. Just tell them hey, I need 4 new hose clamps. Why? Because they're bitches. Okay. And the last one I'll reach from up top. Okay. Make sure my work here is good. Yep. I guess I could have brought you along for the adventure, but oh well. I didn't. Because I'm a mean guy, right? I'm a mean guy who has no clue what he's doing, right? Well, my priority is getting this job done. Sorry. If I'm ahead of schedule, then I'll stop and entertain you. But, quite frankly, the two couple of bullshit things like that hose clamp and then that rubber piece of hose, that really kind of put me behind schedule. What am I at? 4:30 Central Standard Time? I should technically be burning gas right now. But I'm not. We're not burning fuel. That's the problem. All right, let's get my engine mount bolts in. And those are right here. Those are going to be 17s. Oh, some of you have been messaging me asking how Marco is doing. Marco is doing fantastic. I should make a video of his recovery. Well, Marco is doing excellent. He is happy. For those of you who don't know who Marco is our blind adopted elder dog. My wife does volunteer work at the shelter because she's a dog groomer, so she's just always going in and trying to help out. You know, do what she can to make dogs look more presentable so they get adopted faster. And there was this blind dog that nobody wanted. She fell in love with him. She said, "This is the dog I want." And well, I let her have what she wants. I didn't know what it was going to be like owning a blind dog. But yeah, he's definitely a cute little booger. Very cuddly. He's like a kind of a cattle dog mix. And surprisingly very, very good at getting around. So he's been blind for a while. To get to the point is we had him as we were acclimating him to the house. We noticed that he was having some pain, and we were still getting all his basic checkups done. Or we were still starting all his basic checkups. I'm looking for a freaking 10 millimeter that's supposed. There it is. Let's just dump that tray out. How about that? Okay, so he so we got him to the house. He was doing great. We noticed that he was being a little bit prickly, and we took that as he needs adjusting because, you know, new people, new environment, new home. But after a couple of weeks, we were definitely noticing that, you know, he's in some sort of pain because he was very snippy. We took the snippiness as just generic defense behaviors, just because he's old, he's blind. We didn't know how well adjusted he was to being blind. You know, could have been recent and he's having just little panic attacks. Turns out it wasn't any of that. We got him to a specialist, and the specialist told us that he was actually having a lot of swelling behind his eyeballs. We were like, oh, damn. And so they gave us a couple of options. One of the options being surgically remove the eyes. And the second option was to give him these eye drops for a couple of weeks to reduce the inflammation and let the eyes heal. I mean, granted, he's blind, so we're like, okay, $500 worth of medicine versus a couple $1,000s worth of potential surgery and recovery. So we went with the eye drop method. That was working for a while. We got about a week out of it, and you would trying to train a dog to take eye drops is not easy, but he was allowing it to an extent. Then one day he was in pain and his eyes were coming out of his head. They just swelled up that much, so we scheduled an emergency surgery. They took out his eyeballs, and I kid you not, within like 24 hours, that dog was doing handstands. He wasn't on any pain medication. Like, he still had stitches in his eyes. He's wearing a cone, but now he's just jolly as could be. We were like, holy crap. I guess all that pain from the eyes was really just making him that pissy. Oh, it's been a little while. Stitches are out. He's fully recovered. See what I tell you? People bottom their cars out. They're trying to hold up this panel with zip ties. I didn't put that there. So he's doing fantastic. He is jumping on the couch. He's running around the house. He surprisingly has a really good sonar sense. Loves going on walks. He practically walks us, like to the point he wants to run. Yeah, I'm using my head to hold this up so I can feed in a bolt. But personality, that dog has. You wouldn't know he's blind until I told you he was blind. When I come home, he runs to the couch, jumps on the couch, and gets on the back of the couch, and he waits to be greeted. And if you don't greet him, he starts barking. But we're starting to see some other signs that he most likely didn't have a home. We're starting to really see the signs that he was homeless for a while. Because the shelter said they only had him for about a month. But we're kind of starting to go, he might have been there. He might have been on the streets for a while. How does a blind dog survive on the streets? Folks, hell if I know. I don't know how a blind dog would survive on the streets, but this dog definitely has street smart survival skills. And we're just noticing that with some of his temperaments. Hang on, I'm gonna throw shit across the shop if I don't see these bolts. Thank you. There's one. I got one in my hand. I need the one that looks just like this. All right, play my favorite game where I say, that's not it, that's not it, that's not it. There it is. Got it. Got him. Just had to thin it out. Yeah, so some of the signs that we're seeing is not a lot of, we've reduced the food aggression because we do have another dog who's super friendly, but he has his idiosyncrasies too. So these two are learning to get along. They probably would have a better bond if we would have introduced them differently. That was a mistake. So we're playing recovery. Our other dog, he's been a only dog for about 8 months now. So because he was living with another big dog with us, the big dog died. So he was really living it up being the only dog and getting all the attention, then we kind of surprised him like, hello, there's another dog living here. So he went through his jealousy. He's corralling. He's corralling his jealousy right now. But one of the things that we always work with on our dogs is we make sure that they're super comfortable with us touching all their body, their paws, their legs, their muzzle. Reason being is if you ever have to administer any kind of um, first aid, um, medicine, you name it, you don't want a dog who is uncomfortable with you touching a different part of their body. So it's something that's really good to start early on with a puppy. Is if you got them sitting on your lap, you just every once in a while you just touch their fingernails, touch their toes, you get them used to the sensation, and you're rewarding them for that, and you give them rewards for that. So when the day comes, yeah, for them to get any kind of medicine on their feet, they're normal with it. I mean, we're even doing pill training right now. Our dogs don't need pills, but in the event that they need medication, we are training them to take pills voluntarily. So they don't get disturbed. Like it just won't. When we do administer any kind of a pill, it'll just be a completely normal thing because we've been doing it to them their whole life. But recently this week, we decided that we might have to have Marco taken back in for another pain management assessment because he's getting prickly again. Like he's bouncy and he's excited. He's like, I want to go for walks. But when it's couch time, we're like, all right, it's couch time. We're all gonna relax and sit down and chill out on the couch. He jumps up and he's all like, hey, like I want to be with you. And you invite him over, and he's being very demanding about how he wants to be held, and it's kind of new. And we don't know if he's just being a little bit assertive with us, because that's a possibility. We have to take it with steps, but we're keeping notes. Because he definitely does have a favorite of the house during different times of the day, we found out, which is really weird. So my wife, to him, my wife is the food lady. She does a lot. She does the two main meals of the day, and she does a lot of the training. So she becomes the treat lady. There's a lot of positive reinforcement there. Um, I don't get to see him because she works from home a lot. She sees him most of the day, so they have a huge bond. But I could definitely tell by her reaction, his demeanor does change when I come home, because all of a sudden I become the favorite for a while. Because, like, oh, Joe's here. Joe hasn't been here all day. I woke up with him at 5 o'clock in the morning. Then he disappears, and now he's back. So he's, like, really excited to see me. But then he'll turn on me in a heartbeat because I'm on the floor with him. I'm petting him, and he's like, pet my belly, and I'm like, I'm petting his belly. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, my ear itches, scratch my ear. And then just out of the blue, he's all like, stop scratching my ear. And he does his like, bah, bah, bah. I'm like, you. But we don't. We're not doing anything punishing. We're not punishing people with our dogs. We don't smack them. We don't yell at them. Um, we just because that's not a good signal to a dog. Dogs don't really understand that signal. When you yell at them or you hit them or you rub their nose and shit, they don't get that signal. You might think that they understand that signal because you have a different comprehension of what's going on. To a dog, that is just some sort of abuse, and they can't get away from that abuse. So they find a way to adapt and learn with that abusive behavior that you've introduced. What we're doing is we recognize that us being around him is exciting for him, and that's a reward for him, and that's what he wants. So we will remove ourselves from the situation. Hey, you get a little bit feisty on us. You try to take a snip at us, and these aren't like trying to bite you snips. These are just a warning snip, and it's obvious that he's using this air snap as just a warning, and it's most likely because maybe a previous owner or just being on the streets, it's escalated to that's what I have to do to get people to listen to me. So we're respecting that boundary, and we've worked it down to just a polite growl, which is good. That's exactly what we wanted. That's communication. We're communicating with the dog, and so we're responding in kind. So this morning was a really good example of that. I woke up, he wasn't in his usual dog bed. He decided to tip over a laundry basket, and he wanted to sleep in the laundry basket, or sleep in the dirty laundry. Okay, I understand that. My cats did that all the time. They love dirty laundry for some reason. So he's in my dirty laundry pile, and of course the pile's blocking the entry to the bathroom. So I'm just making the polite mannerisms to just scooch him to the side. And as soon as I touched that laundry pile, he gave me the growl. And I had to remind myself right away. This is the response that I wanted. This was a polite response. This is a don't mess with me. Okay, I won't mess with you, but I will bribe you. And sure enough, we keep low calorie kibble on hand all the time. There's like little containers in all parts of the house. We shake the container. I'd be like, how about I bribe you off that? So I shook the container. I brought him over to his dog bed. I'm like, how about you lay over here? And he did. And I gave him a piece of kibble, and he let me pet his head, and I left him alone. But is that type of training? Can that type of training be slower? Yeah, it can, because you got to build that communication. But now that we have this successful communication, things are going to be a lot better with him. I don't. I predict that nobody was really working with him to make his life easier. I think his life was just always a struggle. Most likely went blind early. We really suspect he went blind early just because of his way of navigating around. Like, he's already mapped out the entire neighborhood. When we go on walks, he knows exactly how far he has to walk for every turn. I said, pretty smart little dude. Now we're just kind of getting through the idioms. And that's why it was really important that we developed this communication method with him of positive training, positive reinforcement, respecting boundaries. Kind of like an autistic 5-year-old. If you've ever been around somebody who is autistic and 5, they can just get very overwhelmed with sensations. So we created an X pin fort in the living room. It's about a 6x6 kennel area, and we make sure that he gets some kennel time where he can just settle down and collect himself. It's been a good exercise because there's a lot of stimulation, a lot of activity that goes on in the house, and I do believe that can overwhelm him a little bit, and that's what makes him get a little bit snippy. He'll start barking. So we've been very good about making sure to have some scheduled kennel time where we encourage him to just take a nap, like a little kid. You're like, hey, it's nap time. Go sit. Here's your favorite toy, or he likes treat toys, so we give him puzzle toys. And he is shockingly good with puzzle toys. Buying a lot of treats for your dog can also lead to a lot of weight gaining your animal. So if you're following any of my advice, make sure you're regulating their normal eating. So their lunches and dinners. Make sure you're keeping track of all those calories, because that's how a lot of dogs get overweight very easily. Because you give them their regular meal, and then you're feeding them treats throughout the day, and that's almost like getting half a meal extra throughout the day. Uh, Keeping your dog's horizons, their interest open to different types of treats is important. Uh, One of the things that we introduced, I'm gonna fix this hose right here. That's the bad piece of the hose right there. One of the strategies that we're doing to keep the treats up for training, but make sure they're not getting fat, is our dogs just like bananas. They like bananas a lot, especially Marco. Marco really likes bananas. So we got a food dehydrator, and we dehydrated some bananas. And we like dehydrated bananas a lot. He likes dehydrated bananas even more because now they're crunchy kibbles. And bananas are low calorie, and they also have potassium in them, and he needs potassium in his diet. So it's kind of a win-win. Could be easier. Yes, you're thinking, just go buy dehydrated ones. Well, the dehydrated ones, unfortunately, have a lot of added sugars, and that's what we don't want for the dog. We do not want to add sugars to his diet. Got another one of these asshole clips. I'm telling you, folks, I'm seriously just going to just remove that entire cooler as an assembly so I never have to touch another one of these clips. Even Subaru's instructions, they're like, oh, they're so simple, man. Just clamp them and twist them. Fuck you guys. Whatever hotshot thought that this was a good design needs to take a walk off a cliff. That is a horrible design. Hey, it could be worse. We could be using this design again. Those little butterfly clamps, those are stupid. You see, I don't understand. What was the problem with these old school ones? These ones worked great. I like these ones a lot. Look how far they open up. That's amazing. Just go back to that design. Yeah, so where are we at? Oh yeah, we're talking about Marco. Yeah, so he's an explosion of energy. Unfortunately, his age is kind of getting into him, and that's what sucks. Like, he wants to go out for so many walks, but then he comes back from his walks all sore, and he gets grouchy. It's disappointing. But we can't put him on too many painkillers, because that's just not good for his organs. Like, so what do? You just let the dog just chew Vicodin until his liver blows out? Mm. We're finding other ways to kind of keep his stimulation up. Lots of scavenger hunts. Well, I guess I really wouldn't call it a scavenger hunt, but we're just kind of training him to like go sniff out. He has a really good nose, so sniff out things in the house. He never really had a sensation to really chew on anything. So most dogs calm themselves down by sitting down and chewing on something or tearing something up as a stress relief. We don't think he developed that skill set because of his swollen eyeball condition. We suspect that that might have been going on for a very, very long time. So that's why he never had that chewing sensation as a stress reliever. Now that we've recently removed his eyes and he's healed from it, he's starting to show interest in chewing on things for the first time, which is good. Which is one of the things that we're rewarding him for doing. So I like to go to the butcher store, and I'll get the cheap cuts of beef ribs. I just tell the butcher, I'm like, what is the cheapest cut of rib that I can get? And most of the time I just explain, I'm like, I'm going to use it as dog treats. So There's a particular type of rib cut that's normally just used for soups, and they call it rib fingers, and that works out great. I can get like 12 of those. Nice long. They're like 4-inch long pieces of rib bone with a decent amount of meat. There's fat on them, but I just scrape the fat off because I don't want to feed them a whole bunch of fat. But it comes down to about 50 cents a rib, and about every other day I give him one of those, so he gets a little raw meal, raw food diet, which is good for his health. And then there's all that good marrow inside the bone, and he'll chew down that bone. What you don't want to do is you don't want to give them any kind of a hard bone or a cooked bone, because that stuff is brittle. And if he chews that and swallows that, that can give him an intestinal blockage. Just ask anybody who has like a Rottweiler how much it costs to get that surgery done. I haven't met a Rott owner that hasn't had to pay for that surgery yet. Because those dogs are just so notorious for just chewing on something and then all of a sudden going, oh, they just swallow it. It's not that they're dumb. It's just that their owners don't know any better that, hey, you shouldn't be chewing on anything smaller than your mouth because you might decide to start swallowing things. And sometimes they'll just do it accidentally and they won't know it. I watched somebody who was just playing around with their rod out in the field playing fetch. Good old honest game of fetch. Dog's running back with the tennis ball. Swallowed it. It just happens. The dog has a big mouth and it has an expandable throat. It happens. One of the things that really confirmed our suspicion that Marco had been on the street for a long time was just this weekend. Uh, she went and made herself some toast. Her favorite snack is just having buttered toast. So she's got a plate of fucking toast. I don't understand it. Like she'll make like 4 slices of toast and just sit and eat that. I couldn't do that. But anyhow, Marco's on the couch, minding his own business. He's slowly just kind of like creeping into her lap, but he's never made a move for food before. Not on a human. And just like as fast as you can blink, his nose turns to the right about 6 inches, gets up on the plate, grabs a piece of toast, and it's gone within seconds. Big old piece of toast. And we looked at it and we're like, that dog was on the streets for sure. Like the way that he just woofed that down so fast. Like, yep, that's what a dog does when they've been on the streets. They find a piece of food and they just inhale it as fast as they can. So we didn't do anything to punish him. We just said like, hey, why don't you go outside for a little while? We took him outside, walked him around a little bit, and sure enough, 30 seconds later, he pukes up the bread. That was a lot of food he just swallowed really fast. So I kind of knew he was gonna puke it up. But we've only had him for like 6 months, so he's made big strides. A lot of improvement. The wife works with him a lot. She does a lot of training with him. And he looks super young too. You wouldn't believe he's 10 years old. We're guessing he's 10 just based on his dental records. Keep that in mind. All right, good. All those bolts are in. Water hose bolts are in. Bell housing bolts are in. Let's get this set of throttle body bolts in now. I'll give that garbage a little quick cleanup. Not getting paid for it, but we want our work to be good and we want the engine to start up nice. A little bit of carb cleaner, a little wipey wipe. Last thing we want to do is have this car come back because the customer is complaining of a rough idle because they got a dirty throttle body. There we go. Looks great. This will be... How many more warranty work do I gotta do? That's all I got this week is warranty. I got a warranty compressor to do, a warranty AC control panel to do, warranty evap core to do. I got a CP engine. I got a customer pay engine, and that engine was supposed to get pulled today. Which I'm kind of pissed that I'm not on top of. Hence why I said I'm a day behind. Get that PCB hose hooked back up. Check. Get my throttle body plugged in. Check. That bulkhead harness plugged in, check. This is part of the intake manifold. Get this brake booster hooked up. And it doesn't help that I forgot that I had a dentist appointment tomorrow. So that's in the morning, which means I won't be starting work until almost lunch. Oh, people ran out of work. The music's starting up now. It's 5:15. Yeah, when you work in a garage, there's always the one person who likes to play their music really loud. And you can get away with doing that. And what I recommend you do is you take your little boombox speaker and you put it in a wooden crate that's sealed up all the way around, and then it directs all the sound waves towards you. You'd be surprised how loud you can have your music up. Parts department gypped me on my AC compressor O-rings, so I will have to get back with them in the morning about that. That sucks. Ready to put my radiator in? Yes, I am. All right, let's get the radiator in. Yeah, there's nobody even down at the other end of the building. It's just they turn the radio on and they walk away. That's another reason why I wear earplugs all day. It's always fun to go over and help somebody that has their loud music on. They're like, "Man, I'm trying to figure this car out, or I'm trying to figure out this AC system." And I'll be like, "Do you not hear the AC compressor kicking on?" No. Well, turn down your music. The AC compressor's not kicking on. Like, you're wasting a lot of your time. Notice that my V-belt's a little jacked up here, so I'm gonna fix that. There we go. I'm just gonna put this together so I don't get anything in my AC compressor as I work. Right now, Parts is a one-man show. He's winding down, doing all his paperwork. I can see that there's like 3 people at the counter. I'm not gonna get what I need tonight. I can just fix it in the morning. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's up, Unbleached? Man, we haven't seen you around in a while. Yeah, yeah, people are bounced. We're having a struggle for mechanics, and really the whole mindset of the industry is completely changed. Um, the people who are teaching mechanics or teaching students at mechanic school, they're still teaching them like it's the fucking 90s. That they're going to have these huge successful careers just being a tune-up tech. Because in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, you could be a mechanic for 25 years and literally just do nothing but tune-ups. Tune-ups, brakes, and tires. Nowadays, you have to be a specialist. You have to be a bumper to bumper specialist. That's an incredible amount of knowledge and training. Okay, but you got. I mean, you're talking about doing engine repair, transmission repair, electrical diagnostics, suspension, you name it. And that really does overwhelm people a lot. I've I've been invited into a few of the schoolhouses here around San Antonio and in the general Texas area. Folks, like, I pull these kids aside and I'd be like, you guys are getting screwed over by your instructor. He's like not training you guys for the real thing. It's like, just be brutally honest. Like, I was sitting in one class, and after the instructor was done talking for about an hour or hour and a half, and like he was asking me to just kind of he was just asking me to kind of just supplement with some flavor conversation in on his lecture. Once he told the kids to go on break, I pulled the instructor aside and I was like, bro, it's 2024. Why are you teaching distributors? Seriously. These, I says, out of the 30 kids in this classroom, one of them might go to a shop where he needs to have this knowledge. And if that car did come in, if a car with a distributor did come in, it's going to one of the senior people. Okay, they're not going to give it to the friggin' rookie. Like, we need to get these kids straightened out on direct injection. He's like, oh, well, we already went over that. I says, yeah, and I just talked to a few of them out there, and they don't know jack shit about direct injection. I says, I can tell you glossed over it because you don't know direct injection. You know distributors and carburetors because that's what you grew up on. Like, you got to get your training. You need to go to some refresher training. And that's what I was getting from a lot of these instructors is they haven't had any new training since 1999. They're winging it. And the school don't give a damn. School's just like, oh, these kids are still paying their tuition. And these kids are seriously being taught that carburetors and distributors are out there. Why are we spending a whole week on tearing down carburetors and fixing the points on distributors? Seriously. Are you going to get a job in a classic car shop? No. They're going to send you out to a Pet Boys, a Midas, a dealership. And you honestly know what the person who owns the schoolhouse, you know what he told me when I called him out on it? He says, well, all that's going to be OJT. He's like, so you're going to teach a 20-year-old curriculum and expect the shop to fill in the gaps? These kids are screwed. So I told a lot of them, like, you need to get your money back. Because the majority of this training that you're getting, you're not using in the real world anymore, not on modern day vehicles. Maybe on 20-year-old cars. And if you're working on 20-year-old cars, those customers generally don't have a lot of money. And you're not going to make a successful career. Not starting out, not as a noob. Maybe as an experienced person. Okay, if you have a wealth of information, you got a wealth of tools, you own a shop. Yeah, you might be able to pull something out of your ass doing that. Better make sure that petcock is tight. Yep. O2 sensors clicked in. Yep. But that's generally what they like to call me in for. Is they like to. I think what they're doing is they're trying to get me to teach the new stuff. They don't want to pay me for shit. They just want to ask me like, oh, so Joe, like, so does any of this apply to the new world? And I'll call them out right there in the class. Be like, I says, brother, I haven't seen any of this shit in the last 10 years. Okay? This stuff is not coming into modern day shops. I says, maybe some south side hole in the wall shop that's just working on farm trucks. Yeah, you'll see them. Maybe out in some rural area where people don't buy new cars that often. Yeah, you'll see it. But I'm really trying to get this one school shut down by just making their students quit or ask for their money back. And quite frankly, guys, if you're going to a mechanic school and all you're getting is a certificate, you're spending 20 to $30,000, and you're coming out with a fucking certificate, guys. I'll give you a certificate, and you don't have to pay me anything. All right? Because you really need to understand. You probably have a really shitty guidance counselor if they told you go to this program because they're going to give you a certificate. Certificates mean nothing. Okay? They're the equivalent of a gold fucking star. All these automotive shops that are in my area, as long as you're paying all the automotive shops that are certificate based, as long as you're paying your tuition, you're paying the bill, they're gonna they're gonna graduate you. Okay, they're gonna give you your fucking certificate. Okay, think about that. secondly is, if that's the second thing you need to understand is, when you're going to these certificate places, you need to ask the recruiting team this one question. If this school went under today, who would validate your certificate? Meaning, is your certificate accredited? What does accredited certificate means? That means that the schoolhouse has gone through an approving process with the state, okay? And if the school went under for whatever reason, the state would still recognize that certificate. But all these little certificate places, I'm looking for my goddamn brake cleaner. Jesus Christ, where the fuck is it at? Sorry, the music's getting louder and it's annoying me. I want my brake cleaner. We worked on an engine right here, and I used it religiously. I need to put a friggin' air tag on it, I guess. That's the second time it's walked away from me today. No, 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 no. It's not on my black cart. Did it find its way back? Oh, it's all the way back here by my garage bay door. Caught a ride on something back there. Yeah, all right, so yeah, these schools, these accredited schools, if you're looking at one, ask them seriously, hey, if this school went under today, would the students that have attended here, how would their certificates be validated? Most of these credit schools, they don't have an answer for that, because they know the truth is that certificate would mean jack shit, which it already means jack shit. What you need to do is, if you're thinking about doing mechanic school, go to a community college, okay? Go to a community college and ask them if they have an automotive science degree. It's an AS. You get that, and they will, along with they will get you a different rate going to an automotive school. And when you graduate the automotive school and the community college, you'll come out with an automotive science degree, a 2-year fucking degree. So if you don't survive in the automotive world for whatever reason, you still have higher level education that you can utilize to decide if you want to go back to school, get a bachelor's to pursue higher education. There's a lot of people that once they get their 2-year degree, they'll go audition for a bachelor degree job. I've heard of a lot of good success stories of people who applied for a job that required a bachelor's degree, but they came in and they said, yo, like, I have an automotive science degree, and I worked as a mechanic for 4 years. You know, it didn't pan out, but I want to stay in the automotive world. And this job requires a bachelor's. Can I get a work-study program? The answer is most always yes. They just want to have somebody with a little bit of college education. And I've seen those people take like 5 years to finish their bachelor's. Most employers are very generous, and they'll be like, "Yeah, take a semester, take one class a semester," and they're not even giving you a pay cut. Crazy, huh? Now, the one thing I don't want you to do is I don't want you to confuse the verbiage certification with certificate. Do not confuse those two at all. Two totally different things. A certification is a proof of knowledge that has a committee of people, a board, a panel, that has started a program that is nationally recognized, like ASCs, ASC certifications, nationally recognized. Uh, so here, other certifications that I've held in the past that have expired, Cisco Systems certified. Okay, I worked on network systems. I was a Cisco systems engineer for the military, so I had to get Cisco certified. That was easy. Um, Security Plus, had to get Security Plus certified. That's expired, but I had to get that when I was working in the computer systems. Got Windows certification. I got Office certifications. I got Linux certifications. Unix systems certifications. What's the other one? I can't remember. There's like a computer boot camp one. It's kind of like a computer 101 certification. Man, that thing's so old, I forgot what it was. So once I got it, I never renewed it. But I got it in like 1999. What the piss was it called? I don't know. I think it was called A1. I'll have to look it up now that I'm curious. I think it started with an A. I've been doing automotive for so long. The only A that I recognize is ASC. Uh, A plus. That's what it was called. A plus certification. Yeah, that was the first one that I got. And believe it or not, that was something that my high school was offering. Like I look back on my high school, and you guys have heard me brag about it a lot. But Addison, Michigan, that was a Class D district. D is in Delta. There is more opportunity out of that little school than there is in these metropolitan schools that I see. Like this big ass town, San Antonio, the schools, the curriculum in this city sucks. These kids are getting screwed over left and right. And like it's no wonder why people are begging for these bills to be passed so that way that they can take the money away from the school and they can pay for private education. I don't blame them, but then again, I blame the state also for the way that the schools are funded, okay? Because they're supposed to be funded by their curriculum and their attendance rate. Instead, they're getting funded by their athletic department. Not to pick on people who enjoy sports, but I kid you not, like high school football here is bigger than professional football and basketball. Just high school athletics are crazy here. And schools pump so much time and money into making these kids think that they're going to get a college scholarship. They're like, this is your only way. You got to get an athletic scholarship. No, there are other scholarships that you can get. I was like, maybe if you gave them other opportunities to succeed, other than trying to tell them that they need to be a professional athlete, they might take those avenues into interest. But that's all we hear, and that's all that gets solicited in our area is we need more funding, we need more uniforms, we need money to take these kids to state. I mean, like, take them to state. They're not even they haven't even won enough games. Oh well, that's why we want to send them to a football camp. We send them to a football camp, they might like they just got to win the next 8 games in a row and they can go state. No, that's not how that works. So I don't know. My city's priorities as far as the education system, I don't like it. I think a lot of you kind of get my point, and I should shut up about it. You came to watch me work on cars, not rant, huh? All right. I just don't like seeing our youth being manipulated like that. Because it sucks to say, but the rat race for life begins in middle school. If you're not doing extracurricular activities, if you're not taking higher level education classes, you're screwing yourself over for life. College is not getting cheaper. And if you want to be one of those people out there who's paying off college debt for the next 20 years, be my guest. This step stool is going to go right out from fucking underneath me. I can feel it. I'm just trying to get this nut on this starter going. There we go. There's too many people just getting screwed out of college education too. There's a lot of there was a big story that kind of blew up a couple years back So all these kids, they were getting roped into this marketing degree, 4 year 4 year degree, business administration, and in marketing, and they were all being told like you're going to make six-figure salaries as soon as you're out. What nobody did for those stupid kids is nobody showed them how many other colleges were soliciting that same bullshit program, and now that entire workforce is inflated. Those people are lucky if they make 50, $60,000. We're probably going to put about 5.5 quarts in this engine. The spec sheet calls for 4.4. Generally, when you tear down an engine like this, you'll have to put in an additional quart. So we'll start with 5.5. But for those of you who are thinking about going to college, or those of you who got kids that are going to college, you really need to see what their interest is and what the inflation rate is in that workforce. Because the more inflated that job area is, the more bullshit those kids are going to have to put up with. The more of a rat race that job's going to be, and the more cutthroat it's going to be, because people start getting abused. All right, they start getting abused when you have a surplus of people applying for a job. Then that's when they start doing the internship. Oh, come work for us for minimum wage, or work for fucking nothing, with the promise of getting real world experience, right? Dude, unpaid internships is for 14-year-olds. You're a grown ass adult with a degree. You need to get paid with money. And that's what a lot of these marketing goons are doing. They're just being free help, doing bitch work. And it's embarrassing that somebody can hire you as an unpaid intern. That should be illegal. You have to pay them something. Like there was one douchebag in our area, Texas, that was doing an unpaid internship program and marketing. These people were telemarketers. And to make matters worse, he was stealing from them. One, these people were not getting commission for what they were selling over the phone. Two, they had to wear a uniform in this call center, and guess what he did? He made them pay for those uniforms. But how much do those uniforms cost? There were some bullshit T-shirts off of Alibaba he bought for $5 a piece, sold them to these interns for $35. So these kids out of college, you're going to fucking college to get an education, and you really thought that getting an unpaid internship was the gateway drug to success? You obviously didn't learn anything in college, did you? So I'm glad that the government went after that guy. Somebody finally got their head smart and brought that up to the authorities, and we were like, no, this guy's running a scam. Because as soon as you just start demanding any money, he fires you. But yeah, it's like these these college degree seeking kids were working for this person in a call center, being telemarketers, and then they're Uber drivers after work. So imagine working 40, 50 hours a week and then spending another 20, 30 hours a week as an Uber driver, living in a shitty apartment with four other people who can barely make rent that you don't like. All right, we got oil, we got a battery. Let's prime this sucker up. It's going on 6 o'clock, way behind schedule. I said it's 6 o'clock and I'm like half a day behind work. These people just sitting around playing loud music. Why don't they just go home? Give me a red rag. Let's check this oil level. Perfect. Nailed it. Don't worry, we'll get coolant later. All right, she starts. She starts. It doesn't sound weird. So now that's when I start putting in coolant and I start putting in Freon. Because if I ever had to go back into the engine, I would have to drain all that stuff out of. So that's why I'm okay with starting up the engine first. Oh yeah, see? Perfect oil level. All right, so it's 10 to 6. Let's check out chat. And I got to call it a day because I promised my body that I would start working out. Check out chat really quick. Hey, what's up, Juan? See here, Stampy Dragon says, same kind of thing happened to me as a mechanics intern, unpaid internship, and the boss made you buy all your own tools and uniforms. See, that's bullshit, man. If you're going to take some sort of an internship, they have to take care of all your cost of living expenses, okay? Because you're giving them your body, your time, and your knowledge, and they need to do something for you. So if I ever took somebody as an unpaid intern, then I am housing them, I am feeding them, and I am providing them tools, okay? Because I'm paying for their life. Yeah, the whole thing, like you're getting paid for knowledge. That's an old anthem, all right? And you got to remember, like, the whole interns unpaid intern thing, that's a play on indentured servitude, okay? Because 100 years ago and beyond, if you wanted a skill set, you would solicit your body to a skilled labor. So if you want to be a blacksmith, you would go to a blacksmith shop and you would talk to the head blacksmith and say, "I would like to be your apprentice." And he would take care of you, he would house you, he would feed you, and you were his for whatever amount of years you agreed to, which is usually about 4 to 10 years. Okay? You were his fucking bitch. And if you got any kind of cash, it was usually through like a tipping system that you accrued after a couple of years of working with that person. You would eventually start getting an allowance because you had learned so much that now you were providing for the shop that he gives you a small allowance. And that's what needs to happen with today's interns is you sign a contract of indentured servitude, but they put you up in housing, they give you a meal card, they pay for your health insurance, they give you all the supplies you need to do that job, including clothing. And after so many months, or so many weeks or months, you get an allowance. So that way you have some free spending cash, almost like you're joining the military. That's what needs to happen in the civilian world. So that's what I tell people. If you're going around looking for indigents, if you're going around looking for an internship, just give up. Go to a military recruiter and tell them what you want to be. Hey, I want to be a mechanic. Okay, go to the army and say I want to be a mechanic. Okay, you can go work on tanks and jeeps and Humvees. You'll be a mechanic, but you'll get a paycheck. You'll get a career. You'll get a degree. You'll get college money. You'll get shit out of that. Okay. Uh, CNR says, "Where are you?" I'm in Texas. You guys got your own little conversation going here. Yeah. I started out as a lube tech at a dealership too, unbleached, and I worked my way up to master tech. They paid for um, my Subaru certification program, but I still had to train off duty to get my ASCs. Now they refunded me for taking those tests, and they gave me a pay increase for it. But I'm telling you, folks, if you go to a dealership and they're promising you on the job training, they're literally going to give you the training that they need you to do for the work that they want you to do. And you're going to be in a rat race to go to that manufacturer's school. I'm hearing it too many times of people who have been working at a dealership for 4 years and they still haven't been sent to the manufacturer school. That's bullshit. You need to go to the manufacturer school for at least one class within your first year. If not, you need to get the hell out of there. And the only way that you can light a fire under their ass is to go get your ASCs. Because once you start getting ASCs, the manufacturer sees that and they go, "Hey, why isn't this guy going to manufacturer training? Get him in manufacturer training." And they start cussing out your manager. So if you've been working in a dealer and you're not going to manufacturer school, go get your ASCs. They'll start sending you then. Guaranteed. All right. Looks like Unbleached and Juan has been definitely having a good conversation with you guys up in here and answering your questions. So, with that said, I'm going to take off. I'm going to go get my workout on, get some sleep, come back in the morning, knock out this coolant AC system problem, and get the rear brakes done. We'll be pulling another engine tomorrow, so tune in for that. Subscribe so you get the notifications. And that is going to be an interesting engine because that engine is got a contamination of oil in the coolant system. So we got to clean that mess up. We're stripping that down to the short block, and we're going to be sending the cylinder heads off to a machine shop for work.